Hi, friends. Welcome to the Hey Fundraiser podcast. I'm your host, Mary Hackett, and whether you are a frontline fundraiser, the operations professional, a board member, or just someone wanting to make an impact in your community, this podcast is for you. We cover all facets of fundraising, and our main objective is to give you ideas and inspiration to help you raise more money. Join us as we grow, learn, and make an impact together. Hey, fundraiser. Oftentimes, when we're fundraising, we tend to go back to the same pool of donors multiple times throughout the year. Now, this is okay if you're looking at an annual giving strategy for individuals, but when you're thinking about major gifts and even corporate giving, I want to teach you a strategy today that has worked really well for me for years. In fact, this is how I solicit every major gift. And this tip is going to give your donors a much better experience with you and your organization. Many times in my career, I over-solicited. And it wasn't that I over-solicited for actual money. I over-solicited by literally asking for a gift every few months. This is not a great way to fundraise, and it causes fatigue. If you're bored by going back to the same donors and companies over and over again, they're probably bored and fatigued as well. When I was the director of development for the Boys and Girls Clubs of King County in Seattle, Microsoft was in our backyard, and they were a strong partner. I would approach Microsoft multiple times each year to sponsor big events that were countywide, but the 12 actual clubhouses were also approaching Microsoft for money and for gift in kind, like software and computers. We barely had time to steward the relationship before we were back again, asking for the next gift. And it didn't feel great. I mean, to be honest, it felt terrible. I'm pretty sure Microsoft was exhausted by us asking all the time. We decided to go to Microsoft with one big ask that included everything we needed for all clubhouses and the county. We sat down with Microsoft and presented our needs. And I'm not going to lie, it was an extensive list. We asked for a 6-figure gift for the county in cash. We requested new computers for a few of the clubs where the technology had just become out of date. We asked for a Microsoft executive to serve on the county board, the big board. And then we asked for 12 Microsoft employees to serve on each of the 12 club boards and a few other items. You'll notice that we asked for a lot more than just money. We wanted engagement and participation. We wanted them to see our mission firsthand. We also shared with them that this was the only time we were going to ask them for a gift this year. And we would just recognize them on our website and as a premier sponsor at every single event. They were delighted. And over the course of the year, this improved our relationship and it saved the team a ton of time. I mean, we were trying to manage who was asking who. It was hard on Microsoft's side. It was hard on our side. So this really changed things. Every time I called our contact at Microsoft, she picked up the phone and we talked about the tremendous impact they were making. She knew that it was a friendly call and I was not going to ask her for another gift. Here's the headline. Your donors will have a better experience if you ask once and then steward them for the next 364 days. The next year, when we approached Microsoft with our annual solicitation, they brought ideas to us about engaging more employees and becoming more involved in events and volunteer days. And it was amazing. Our relationship became deeper and stronger. This was such a successful approach that I started implementing this in all of my major gift and corporate solicitations. Here's what happened. Donors were actually getting stewarded. It was crazy. And we weren't treating them like a revolving door or an ATM machine. Donors become accustomed to that one solicitation meeting each year, which was really a negotiation about how they would become engaged over the next year. Let's talk about how this might work for individual major donors or your board members. Before you sit down for your next solicitation with an individual, I want you to really think about how and where you want them to be engaged over the next 365 days. I'm actually going to provide a sample proposal in the show notes so you can grab that, tweak it, brand it for your organization, and start using it immediately. Now, in preparation for this meeting, you're going to want to ask yourself, if I could only ask this person one time this year, what would I ask for? Make your list of everything you hope they'll do, and it should be more than just making a monetary commitment. Let's say you're going to meet with Gordon and Marilyn, a couple that has been donating to your organization for many, many years. You might ask them for the following 6 items. First, a $40,000 outright gift to support programming efforts. Now, it could be unrestricted, right? Like to support our overall programming, or you could plug in to support, program X or program Y. Second is for Gordon's cabinetry business to sponsor a hole at the golf tournament this year for $2,500, and this, of course, would come with a foursome. Third is to host a small dinner party at their home for 4 other couples and our executive director, which is my perfect event, by the way. Fourth is attend the gala and for them to raise their paddle at $10,000 to really help create momentum and excitement in the room. Fifth could be that the centerpieces at your volunteer appreciation dinner would feature roses from Maryland's beautiful rose garden. And then lastly, that you might ask Marilyn to set up a lunch to introduce the organization to her dear friend who is a known philanthropist in the community. Now, I just made these 6 things up on the fly, but in this case, you'll want to go through these options one by one and have the couple react to everything on the list. They may come back and say, gosh, we're going to be out of town during the golf tournament. So we'll sponsor, but we don't need the 4 tickets. Great. They might say, instead of the small dinner party, do you mind if we have it at the golf club? And you could say, great. So this really becomes a negotiation, and it's a happy one because it allows you both to plan out the year together. I mean, Marilyn could come back and say, my roses are not doing so well this year. And so I can't prune them for you and have them used at your volunteer appreciation event. And that's okay. It's really the thought. And I'm sure, she would be tickled pink to have that. Now, if you're doing this kind of strategy with individuals, I would not ask for more than 5 or 6 things. Only if you're talking to like a big corporation can you really list out, 10 or 12 options on your menu. It's also important that you just aren't asking for money only. There are dozens and dozens of opportunities to ask your donors to become engaged with your organization above and beyond their gift. So I'll build a list and put it in the show notes, like the 50 most interesting ideas to engage donors. Before the solicitation, you'll want to fill your donors in on this new strategy. So set the scene, and most likely your donors are going to be delighted. I was always upfront with donors, and I would say something like this. Gordon and Marilyn, it feels like I'm always coming to you and asking you for gifts. And you're always so generous with your time and treasure. I'd like to change tactics here, and on our next visit, just bring a menu of options that we can talk about for the entire year. That way, we'll have one solicitation meeting each year, and then all the other times that we meet or talk can just be about the amazing impact that you're having on our community. How does that sound? The majority of people are going to say, yes, that sounds lovely. And you're also asking permission to solicit, which is also super important. Like they know on that next visit, you're going to bring them a menu of items. And people love choices. So think of it as a menu. If you were going to ask Gordon and Marilyn for those 6 things over the year, you would be doing 6 asks over a 12-month period. It's just taking too much out of the emotional bank account with your donors. This is why I like one solicitation a year. Your donors are going to start to expect it, and they'll know that when you call throughout the year, it's not for another gift. It's just to have a relationship with them, which is just so meaningful. With your board members, you'll want to do the exact same tactic. Sit down with them and plan out their year. What events are they going to attend? How many tables can they do? Who can they bring to those events? What do they want to support this year, just personally? Is it a certain program? Is it a certain event? How will they engage over the year? Will they commit to bringing 2 groups of friends over the year to tour your facility? And then how will they engage their network? Now, of course, you don't want to pose those questions. It's always better to show up with a plan that they can react to. And you'll see what I mean when you download the document from the show notes. The best strategy I can give you is ask your donors once and thank them for the next 364 days. You will be shocked at how your relationships with donors become deeper and more meaningful. I used to fret, really fear asking gifts. And I dreaded going back to donors, to ask for another gift 3 months after I had just solicited them. So all of that fear, the dread, the fretting, it all went away when I implemented this strategy. And it's also going to save you and your donors a ton of time. We hope this tip really helps you revolutionize your fundraising. Until next time, fundraiser. Hey, fundraiser, thanks so much for being here today. Did you know that we create a special page for each episode that has helpful links, episode highlights, standout quotes, and freebies? Check it out in today's episode description. If you loved what you heard today, would you kindly give us a rating and review? It really helps other fundraising professionals find our Hey Fundraiser community. I'm Mary Hackett, and thank you for listening.